From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. It's Friday. The weekend is almost here, but look at these highs we saw yesterday. And of course, I'm going to be completely transparent here. I did not forecast highs this high. Did not even get into the 80s. But look at the high that we saw in Redding and Red Bluff, 81. Now, that's 3 degrees shy at the Redding Airport of 84 degrees. 1 degree shy of the record in Red Bluff, set in 1986 as well. Now, Chico, Oroville, you were mainly in the mid to upper 70s, really nowhere near those records. But look at Mount Shasta. You actually tied your record of 71, set in 1958, and nowhere near those records in Wairika or El Turris, but still pretty warm temperatures. And you know what? We could threaten more records today. I'm actually expecting temperatures to maybe be a degree or two warmer than they were yesterday. But overall, the temperatures are dropping once we get into the weekend. The bigger drop will be on Sunday. Now, speaking of Sunday, that's when the next round of rain and high elevation snow arrives. Now, snow could drop down to as low as 3,500 feet. It's probably going to be closer to that 4,000 foot range, somewhere within there, give or take, depending on where you are. That is going to impact your mountain travel on Sunday. So just be aware of that, especially over the higher mountain passes. And then I do expect it to be a little unsettled to start next week, but really for the most part, we're going to start off fairly dry for Monday, Tuesday, and then maybe more rain by Wednesday. More on that in your deeper dive forecast here in just a bit, but for your Krueger's Quickcast, just to get you out the door and so you know what to expect here for the day today, well, if you liked yesterday, you're going to love today. In fact, temperatures may be just a tad warmer. Even in the morning, I mean, it's low 50s for the valley at 8 o'clock in the morning. You don't even really need that light jacket unless, 52 degrees is still cool for you. But, I mean, even in the mountains, Modoc County, okay, you're the one place where it does get below freezing. But otherwise, you're mainly in the upper 30s and low 40s for the higher elevations and for the coast. So you've got this area of low pressure here. That did bring us a few high clouds yesterday and may even today. But this really is what I've got my eyes on. This is what's going to be here on Sunday. That's what's going to give us our next round of rain. But again, that's not until Sunday. I mean, take a look at today. I mean, even the coast looking at plenty of sunshine. We may eventually see some fog developing around Eureka, Humboldt Bay in the afternoon. But everyone else, yeah, you're still looking at sunny skies. How about the ski park? Well, kind of the same situation. If you've been out there this week, you know, basically it's just kind of that firm surface in the beginning of the day where it's cold, and then it softens up with the daytime heating throughout the day. But the road conditions are still looking good out there. That may change, though, by the time we get into Sunday morning. Let's take a look at future forecast snow totals. This is not a massive storm system. It's not going to bring us a ton of rainfall. This is not a storm where it's like atmospheric river type of event where it's just kind of that steady stream of moisture. This is an area of low pressure that's moving through. That brings us more in the way of scattered showers, some thunderstorms, and of course some of that snow in the higher elevations. But hey, any new snow is certainly welcomed out at the ski park. Look at these temperatures. Again, we're going to be threatening some of our records today. Temperatures upper 70s to even low to mid 80s. Mid 80s possibly today in the valley. And then generally in the 60s and even some 70s for the higher elevations. And you can see to the coast, temperatures there in the upper 50s for your daytime high. So for tonight, we're looking at those temperatures dropping down into the low to mid 40s here for the valley. 20s, 30s, as we've seen here the last few mornings for the higher elevations. And it looks like somewhere in the low 40s here for the coast. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day outlook. So the rain is going to be Sunday. Scattered showers, scattered thunderstorms possibly as well. Maybe some breaks in the clouds. I think for the most part, we're dry in the valley Monday, Tuesday. And then Wednesday, you've got a better chance for some of that rain coming on in here before we see another break by the end of next week for the coast, inland, and for Weaverville. Now, I want to really just point out Monday. This looks like, wow, it's going to rain. Honestly, I'm putting it in there because there may be just a little bit of leftover instability. I don't want you to be surprised if you see a stray shower or snow flurry for some of those higher elevations. But otherwise, dry Monday, Tuesday, then you've got that rain on Wednesday. All right, then for Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains, dry through the first half of the week. Everyone's going to be dry. It's going to be a beautiful start to the weekend. it's Sunday that you've got that rain coming in. Again, same story here. Most likely not even happening, but you may see a stray sprinkle, okay? And then Tuesday you're dry, and then another round coming in on Wednesday. All right, that's Krueger's Quickcast. If you don't have the free Weather NorCal app, my question to you is why not? It's a total locally based app, right? That's the whole point of it. There are so many apps out there. They're AI generated, and there's nobody local keeping an eye on it. I'm local here in Northern California, and I maintain this app. And so it's going to be more accurate than most apps that you see out there. All right, let's go ahead and, of course, just search for Weather NorCal, by the way, in your app store. You're good to go. All right, so there's the area of low pressure. That's moving over Southern California. This, though, is what I've got my eyes on. Now, the main area of low pressure is kind of right up here, right? That's over the Gulf of Alaska. But we're seeing the cold air get wrapped around that. We're seeing another spin develop right here. This is the next area of low pressure that's going to be developing here. Now, unlike earlier this week, which was this system, it looked a lot like this. You saw this big band, you saw the low pressure to our north, you saw low pressure developing here. Now, what happened with this system, which looked a lot like this, is this moved down into Southern California, what this is doing right now. This one is not. This one's going to be moving through Northern California. And you'll see that spin in the atmosphere when we take a look at Futurecast going into Sunday. But today, yes, beautiful weather. That fog develops later tonight and through the day tomorrow on the coast. So we'll call it mostly cloudy on the coast on Saturday. But everyone else still dry, mainly sunny throughout the day on Saturday. Then by Saturday evening, Saturday night, it begins to move into the north coast. So that's when you see some of that heavier rainfall coming in, maybe some gusty winds at times, and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. So this is for the first main band of moisture, a bit of a cold front, if you will, as that moves itself off to the east by early Sunday morning. Now we're seeing that rain in the valley to the north and west. We're still fairly dry, though, in Modoc County, Siskiyou, and Plumas counties, Lassen counties. But then you can see by 6 a.m. on Sunday, now that's kind of pushing through. So now what we're seeing here, remember I was talking about it's an area of low pressure. So this is not going to bring us the widespread steady rainfall that we see with an atmospheric river, for example. This is going to bring us off and on showers, brief periods of moderate to heavy rainfall, maybe some thunderstorms, and some snow flurries here and there for some of the higher elevations. So when we look at the rainfall totals, you know, you have to take into account of where we see some of the heavier rainfall with some of these heavier downpours. But there you can see Sunday morning, right? You see the spin I was talking about? That's that area of low pressure that's moving on through. This is creating the instability for the showers and maybe even a few isolated thunderstorms that we'll see through the day on Sunday. That spin now kind of over to the south here as it moves down to a little bit to the south and east. So as I mentioned, by the time we get into Sunday night, Monday, it's pushing off to the east. We're on the back side of it, and that may bring us a chance for a few showers in some of the higher elevations, especially off to the east. Rainfall totals, again, keep in mind, it depends on who sees the heaviest amount of rainfall with this area of low pressure that moves through. Predicting the amount of rainfall for each particular location is very difficult with a storm system like this. But on average, you're going to be looking at anywhere from a few hundredths to upwards of a half of an inch, I think, for some of us in the valley. And I think we may even see a little bit more than that in parts of the north coast. And of course, usually, as we typically see, less off to the east. This is a different forecast model. Just want to kind of show you that pretty good alignment here, and that's why we feel pretty confident that we could see upwards of a half an inch, which is that darker shade of blue. You start seeing less in these shades of green, about a quarter of an inch here, and then a little less than that to the south. Now this is going into the half inch to 3/4 of an inch range here for the coast. I think that's a pretty good representation, and this is anywhere within a few hundredths to upwards of a quarter of an inch off to the north and east. So again, just kind of want to give you a different perspective from a different forecast model. And again, pretty good alignment with the first one I showed you. Now the snow you can see here, you have to go up pretty high in elevation before you start seeing anything significant, right? You're over a foot of snow on the peak of Mount Shasta, but not necessarily from Mount Shasta City itself. In fact, this isn't even picking up on any snow from Mount Shasta City. Maybe a bit of a mix at times but overall, it's not going to be that much down to 3,500 feet. You have to go up above 5,000, 6,000 feet before you start seeing anything significant. There is a little bit of accumulating snow showing up around Quincy. So as you get up to about 4,500 feet, 5,000 feet, yes, you're seeing that light accumulation, but heavier accumulation as you start going above that. But keep in mind, this is going to impact your mountain travel because some of those higher mountain passes around 5,000 feet or higher will most likely see chain requirements. Taking a look at the longer range forecast, this is what I was talking about on Monday. The low pressure will be off to our east. This model is not really picking up on much in the way of rain or snow. So again, when we look at that 7-day forecast, you'll see the rain and snow on Monday for the higher elevations, but keep in mind, it's going to be few and far between. We go into Tuesday, looks like a bit of a break, but then by Wednesday, okay, there's Tuesday. Let's take into Wednesday. Here's the next system coming in from the north and west. This one doesn't look to be quite as impressive as the one that'll move through on Sunday, but it's certainly going to bring us more rain and snow in the higher elevations. That scoots on out of here by the end of next week, Thursday, Friday, as high pressure settles in and will dry things out by the end of next week. And what we're seeing here, when we look at this precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, we're starting to see the shade of green over us get darker and darker. And what that essentially means is better chances of seeing that above normal rainfall as we go into the extended outlook. So that's certainly good news that we do have more rain in the forecast, despite the fact really, it's been beautiful the last few days. It's a guilt-free spring-like temperatures here because we're going to see more rain and much cooler temperatures after these beautiful temperatures we're experiencing right now. There you can see your lake levels are still looking pretty good. In fact, Shasta Lake went up from 77% capacity up to 78%. So we are seeing more of that going in than we were at that, several weeks ago when it was several feet, right? Dropping several feet in 24 hours. So again, and not much going on upwards or downwards for Trinity Lake or Lake Oroville, but still looking pretty consistent there. I just wanted to show you this through the entire month of February, minus of course today, it's not showing it, but you can see really the first 3 quarters really of February pretty much below normal. It was a cold start to the month of February, but wrapping up the month of February since last week, we've been above normal, upper 60s, low 70s, even the 81 we saw yesterday, and I think it'll be even warmer for your Friday. But again, this isn't going to last forever. We go beyond that, and you can see we're actually getting better chances of seeing cooler than normal temperatures. And just to kind of show you general, because I could show you all areas and it would just take forever, I'm going to show you Redding, and you can see we're going to get up to 84 degrees today. Now, look at the average, by the way. That's 21 degrees above average if we indeed get up to 84. Now, you can see we're seeing a drop, but still 10 degrees above average on Saturday, then plummeting into the upper 50s. By Sunday into Monday, this is when we see the rain, of course, and then we see just a slight bump up in those temperatures, probably slightly above normal by the time we get to the end of next week and into that next weekend. Wave heights are dropping today, but they'll go back up with the approaching storm system through the day on Saturday and most likely on Sunday. Now, there is a beach hazard statement. There was one yesterday. It expired at midnight last night, but now we've got a new one through the weekend, 10 a.m., sneaker waves. That's the big risk. That's the big concern. It's beautiful weather out there, but just bear in mind that we got to watch for those sneaker waves here throughout the weekend. There you can see your marine forecast. North winds at 5 to 10 knots. Your waves, you can see right here. Also your sunrise, your sunset. And there, of course, is a look at that small correct advisory this morning, but that will be allowed to expire here later this afternoon. All right. Let's take a look at your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures mid to upper 70s for your daytime highs. Gorgeous, gorgeous weather. And gorgeous even for your Saturday. It's Sunday that we got that rain moving on in. All right, let's take a look at your North Coast neighborhood forecast. 69 degrees for Rio Dell, 77 degrees for Honeydew, and 77 degrees for Alder Point. Of course, same situation. Saturday night, Sunday, we're seeing that rain move in. Temperatures 60s. Look at that. Smith River about 70, 74 degrees for Gas Key, 80 in Orleans, Hoopa about 73. We take you out to Gazelle, 69 degrees, 60 in McDowell, and Dunsmuir, a high of about 75 degrees. Modoc County today, temperatures should be in the mid to upper 60s. Gorgeous weather here as well, even through Saturday, and then by Sunday, that rain and snow mix possibly. And then we're down to the eastern mountains, and you can see about 78 degrees for Shingletown, 65 in Greenville, out towards Portola, about 64, and beautiful weather in Paradise. It's going to be just like Paradise in Paradise with a high of 77. 78 degrees for Pasquinta, as well as Corning, 79 degrees for Los Molinos. This is your Valley Neighborhood Forecast, brought to you by Walgamuth Painting, by the way. There, of course, is that rain coming in on Sunday for Oroville. And, of course, that's the case for Chico. Looking at your 7-day forecast, you've got temperatures down into the upper 50s after this upper 70s today, and, of course, low 70s by tomorrow, upper 50s for Monday, Tuesday, another chance for rain by next Wednesday. Now up to the north, 80 for Lakehead, 84, 85 for Redding, the city of Shasta Lake, and 81 degrees out in Red Bluff. And quite honestly, I think Red Bluff, you may be a bit warmer than that. That may be underplaying the daytime high for today. But there you can see, of course, we're in the low 70s. So yeah, we're seeing about an 11-degree drop from Friday to Saturday, but we're going from 84 today to 73 on Saturday. Then by Sunday, there's that rain moving in, showers, possible thunderstorms. We're mainly dry Monday, Tuesday, and then we get another round of showers and possible thunderstorms again for next Wednesday. That's your evening update. I'll be back again at noon for your latest forecast. Have a great morning.
Wiggly mouth.
Woggy mouth.
No.
Painting.
Wiggy mouth.
It's Woogie Mouth Painting.
It's Walgamuth Painting, and yes, we'll paint anything.